In the early 1940s, during World War II, Coca-Cola faced a major problem in Nazi Germany. Due to wartime trade embargoes, the Coca-Cola plant in Germany could no longer get the essential ingredients to produce their famous soda. Rather than shutting down production entirely, Max Keith, the head of Coca-Cola's German operations, came up with a creative solution. Invent a new drink using whatever ingredients they could find locally. They used leftover apple fibers, whey, and other food byproducts to create a fruity, carbonated drink. The result was Fanta, named from the German word Fantasie, which means imagination. Ah, the nostalgia of yesteryear. Remember that one drink you used to love? Maybe you begged your parents for it at the grocery store, or it was your go-to refreshment on a hot summer day. Well, some of those once-beloved beverages are long gone, relegated to the dusty corners of pop culture history. Today, on the World of Food, we're counting down to 10 drinks that used to be popular but no longer exist. Some were legends. And others? Let's just say they faded away for a reason. We're kicking things off with a soft drink saga so infamous it's practically a case study in marketing disasters. Yup, you guessed it. New Coke.
My friends, we have a new formula for Coke.
In 1985, Coca-Cola made a bold and, let's be honest, baffling move. They thought, hey, people love Coca-Cola so much. Why don't we completely change the flavor? And thus, New Coke was born. The backlash was immediate and brutal.
The prisoner's letter stated to me that when he tasted the new Coke, to him it tasted like panther piss.
People hated it. Coca-Cola received hundreds of thousands of letters and phone calls from irate customers, demanding the return of the original formula. The company panicked, scrapped New Coke, and re-released the original under the name Coca-Cola Classic. But what's even wilder? New Coke didn't totally disappear. It's popped back up in limited releases over the years. But for most of us, it lives on as a quirky cautionary tale from the 80s. Next up, we've got a drink that literally tried to convince people that clear soda was the way of the future. Enter Crystal Pepsi. Yes, Pepsi decided that the world needed a cola that was see-through. In 1992, they dropped Crystal Pepsi on the world, hyping it up as a pure, natural alternative to the regular stuff. I mean, just look at it. It's the soda that screams, I'm cool because I'm clear. But despite the novelty factor, people were like, it tastes like Pepsi. But it's not. It was as if Pepsi hit the unnecessary. And by 1994, Crystal Pepsi had vanished from shelves, leaving us to ask, was that a fever dream, or did that actually happen? Now this next one. It wasn't just a drink. It was a whole experience. I'm talking about Orbits, the drink with floating gelatin balls suspended inside. If you were a 90s kid, this beverage either fascinated or horrified you. Orbits looked like something you'd drink on a spaceship. Seriously. Imagine floating around the cosmos, sipping this weird gelatin ball-filled drink. It was like drinking a lava lamp. Some people loved the novelty, but others found the texture unsettling, to say the least. In the end, Orbits was a little too futuristic for its time, and by the end of 1997, it was zapped out of existence. Before your diet sodas of today, there was Tab. First introduced in 1963, it was one of the OG diet drinks, designed to give you that sugary taste without the calories. With its distinctive pink can and funky logo, Tab quickly became a symbol of 70s and 80s diet culture. Tab was everywhere. It even showed up in movies like Back to the Future. But over time, Tab's appeal started to fizzle out, especially with the rise of Diet Coke. By 2020, Coca-Cola finally pulled the plug on Tab after decades of declining sales. It had a good run, but let's be real, it was time to let go. Now, let's take a moment to appreciate the sweet, citrusy nectar that was HiC Ecto Cooler. A marketing tie-in with the Ghostbusters franchise, this fluorescent green drink was released in 1987 and featured everyone's favorite ghost, Slimer, on the box. And it wasn't just popular, it was legendary. Ecto Cooler was one of those drinks that defined childhood for a whole generation. You'd see that bright green color and immediately think, I need that. Sadly, by 2001, the green goodness had disappeared from shelves. It made a brief comeback in 2016 for the Ghostbusters reboot, but much like the ghosts in the movie, it vanished again. Ever wake up in the morning and think, you know what would go great with breakfast? A Pepsi. No? Well, apparently, Pepsi thought someone would. In 1989, they introduced Pepsi Am, a soda designed specifically for the mornings, because who needs coffee when you've got extra caffeinated Pepsi? Spoiler alert, almost everyone still preferred coffee. It didn't take long for Pepsi AM to disappear from the breakfast table, and it became one of those, wait, that really happened? Moments in soda history. Now we're talking high octane. Jolt Cola was the drink for the wild ones, the students pulling all-nighters, and the gamers going for that high score. With the slogan, all the sugar, twice the caffeine, it was like a legal energy drink before energy drinks were even a thing. It exploded onto the scene in 1985, and for a while, it was the choice for anyone needing a serious energy boost. But as energy drinks like Red Bull and Monster started to rise in popularity, Jolt Cola fizzled out. It made a few comebacks over the years, but its glory days are behind us. OK Soda. If you were a teenager in the early 90s, you might remember this one. OK Soda was created by Coca-Cola to appeal to Gen Xers. The marketing was as bizarre as the drink itself. Cans with abstract art, a marketing campaign that basically said, this soda isn't fine, it's just okay, because apparently meh was the vibe back then. But unfortunately for OK Soda, people didn't want a beverage that was just okay. It was discontinued after 2 years. Turns out, people like their sodas to be a little more than just mediocre. Flash forward to 2006, and Coca-Cola decided to get fancy with CocaCola Black, a coffee-flavored Coke. It was an attempt to merge two beloved beverages, coffee and soda. But let's be real, mixing coffee with Coke? It didn't land. The marketing was slick, the packaging was sleek, but most people didn't know what to make of it. Coca-Cola Black was pulled from shelves by 2008. Maybe some things are better left unmixed. And finally, we end with one of the more unusual flavors of the bunch, Aspen Soda. Launched by PepsiCo in 1978, Aspen was an apple-flavored soda. Yep, apple soda. It had a loyal fan base for a short time, with some people absolutely loving that crisp apple taste. But alas, the apple fizz didn't last long. By the early 80s, Aspen had disappeared from the soda aisle, leaving behind only memories of its unique flavor. To this day, some people still reminisce about the taste of Aspen, wishing it would make a comeback. So there you have it. 10 drinks that once ruled the beverage world, but have since faded into history. Whether they were ahead of their time or just plain bizarre, they'll always hold a special place in our nostalgic hearts. Which of these drinks do you wish would make a comeback? Or maybe, just maybe, they're better left in the past? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fun trips down memory lane.